Let's do a quick test. 3 of these clips are AI generated, and 1 isn't. Can you tell which one is real? It's tough, right? Well, the correct answer is, this video of Tokyo is the only real one here. Just kidding, that's AI. The real one is actually this one with the birds. Or is it? When you can't tell yourself and you can't trust what someone is telling you, how do you even know what's real? And this kind of AI is now being used in every aspect of filmmaking, making some people think, is this the end of film? Well, let's back up a second. How do we even get to this point? From the start of our fascination with moving pictures, the goal has always been to make films that resemble real life as much as possible. First step was to make silent films not silent. We did that in the 1920s with a Vitaphone, and this was the result.
He's an angel of a joy. Wait a minute. You ain't heard nothing yet.
So we got sound, but that wasn't enough. Next up was color. This took a long time to figure out. We first started with stenciling, which required the filmmakers to manually color in individual frames of the movie, and then put those frames back together. By the 1900s, we opted for easier and faster colored filters instead. But it wasn't until 1939 with The Wizard of Oz that we finally used color like we do today in movies. The next big change came from computer-generated imagery to change the visuals of the film itself. That's what got us all the sci-fi classics from the 70s and 80s. By the time we got to the 21st century, movies have only gotten bigger and crazier. Every movie has to have massive explosions or cities full of monsters and high-tech superheroes. This required much more powerful technology to make all of this unbelievable stuff look believable. So there were massive advancements in motion capture, animation, special effects, and even better CGI. But what started happening at this point is that the movie industry raised our expectations of what makes a movie good. Audiences now don't want to watch some random people at the beach. We want explosions and aliens and big buff heroes beating the bad guy.
Dylan, bitch.
That's why the top movie franchise in the last couple years has been Marvel. They've been pumping out blockbuster films that are 98% CGI'd to feed this hungry audience. But these kinds of effects are extremely expensive. CGI now costs over $1,000 per minute, which is why the budgets of movies today have exploded. And it's in this tug of war between audiences that want blockbuster films and the film industry having to spend billions to make them happen that AI comes in to disrupt everything. There's 3 main ways that AI is taking over the film industry: visual effects, generation, and pre-production. You remember the movie Irishman, right? It had Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. It was like 10 hours long or something. Well, it was one of the first uses of AI to de-age actors. And it worked so well that it was practically impossible to tell that all the actors were in their mid-70s in these scenes. The Irishman went on to become very successful and was nominated for multiple Academy Awards. And soon AI was used to de-age other actors and remaster older films to have the 4K quality that we expect today. But it also started to ignite something different in audiences. Audiences were starting to see AI technology as something different from the classic special effects and CGI. But that didn't stop the growth of AI. Just when people were starting to notice the power of AI in filmmaking, tools like Midjourney and Sora were launched. These tools are so advanced that they aren't just enhancing existing content, but they're actually generating new content that is extremely realistic. Sora was the tool used to make those clips in the beginning of the video. This ability for AI to make realistic content just from text prompts is very different from de-aging technology, because before AI was a tool that enhanced something that we created, but now AI is doing the creating. So obviously people's opinions have only gotten even more negative. The negativity is completely understandable. Technology before was seen as a tool, which made filmmakers' jobs easier, but now it's become something that's seen as a threat to the filmmakers' jobs. Most of the discussion about AI in filmmaking is in these 2 categories. But there's another way AI is taking over the film industry, which is even scarier. Let me show you.
It's something I can do.
You should see the boy and shut up. I was the one who was going to be 100 years old.
I saw him again. The way you were sent to me, that was a big, honest idea. I am not a bright light.
Well, I have to go to the skull. I don't know.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't know anything about any of this, so...
If you're confused about what you just watched, don't be. This was an experimental short film called Sunspring from NQ Production, and the entire script of this movie was completely written by an AI bot called Benjamin. And it's so obvious the script is basically nonsense.
It's a damn thing scared to say.
But that was back in 2016, way before ChatGPT or any of the new AI tools that are writing scripts today. To see just how good these new tools are getting, let's do another test. This is a test made by the LA Times where they give you one human written script and one that's AI written. Let's see if you can tell which one is written by AI. Well, the first script was the one that was written by AI. Did you get it right? AI being able to generate and write believable scripts takes us to a serious turning point. A point where the filmmaking industry doesn't even need people to make the films. No writers, no editors, no actors, just a production company that uses cheap AI to pump out endless films. The fear of this stale dystopian future of film is one of the reasons why writers organized a strike last year. Along with other issues, it's the use of AI to replace writers that made so many people angry. Writers didn't want to be fired or paid half their normal rate because the production company decided to use the cheaper option of AI instead, and to require the film industry to view only material made by humans as legitimate, not AI-generated material. And after months of organizing, they won. The updated WGA agreement lays out a list of requirements and restrictions that production companies have to follow. First, AI cannot be considered a writer, so any material generated by it can't be seen as literary material in the same way as something made by people. Second, if the production company gives a writer AI-written rough drafts to edit, that writer has to be seen as the first and sole writer and paid in full for their work. Third, the writer is allowed to use AI to assist their work, but cannot be forced to use it by the production company. Fourth, the production company has to reveal to the writer whether any part of the material was generated by AI. And last, that writers' past work cannot be used to train AI tools to write new material. These are all major wins for writers, and it secures the value of their work. But it doesn't address the root problem, because AI tools are able to write and generate movies at a much smaller budget. That means practically anyone with a computer can make a full-fledged movie, which is good because it democratizes filmmaking so that anyone is able to do it. You don't need to be a big production company anymore with millions of dollars. But if everyone is making movies everywhere all the time, that opens up the floodgates to even worse issues of deepfakes and misinformation. It brings us to a point where we can't even tell what's real and what isn't anymore. A state-of-the-world sociologist Jean Baudrillard called hyperreality. In this hyperreality, he warned that the general population would become extremely depressed that their real life is not matching what they're seeing in media, or so paranoid to the point that even the real world they're experiencing is not believed. A post-truth society, where we constantly have to figure out what's real and what isn't. And right now, that's a test we're failing. Hey guys, Moreno here. I promise it's the real me. I just want to hop on and say thank you for watching, and thank you for 200 subscribers. We're off to a great start. If you like this kind of social commentary of new technologies, consider subscribing. I got a lot more ideas up my sleeve that are coming very soon. If you liked this video, make sure to like and comment. I'll see you in the next one.